All right, so I had the video to review the game yesterday. Basically, all done, all ready to upload and whatnot, and put out this morning. And I slept on it, and you get up, you see reactions and whatnot, and the media talking about this and that, and Packers are done. Playoffs are nowhere. Shouldn't even be in their sight. Like, they can't even win a game. I think most Packer fans knew this was going to be a loss going into this game. But a lot of us had it being a blowout. They didn't have it being a fight. And I was talking about this in my stream. I'm happy with this game. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And obviously, things like the media, which people should not be paying as much attention to because these people on ESPN or whatever talk shows on, the TV don't always have the best grasp of things. They're not always locked in on one team. Why do you think they talk about LeBron James so much? Or Tom Brady so much? They don't care about the other 32 teams. They care about who's the GOAT, who's the best, and that's the only thing they focus on. And then you have Undisputed with Skip, who focuses on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are, overrated and whatnot. Have been since the 90s. But they don't focus on everything. And because I'm able to focus on the Packers. Now, I try to make this channel. I'm a Packers fan, yes. I try to make this full NFL. And when, the NBA hits the playoffs, I try to do, full NBA. I enjoyed the heck out of making those skits the past 2 years, except for last year, where I ended up just not doing a World Series one, or Finals one, because I think everyone kind of checked out as soon as it was Boston versus Warriors. So, but I'm going to do it again this year. We'll start it off this year and see what happens. But I try to do research. I try to look into things. I don't know everyone's name by heart. I'm kind of familiar with the Bills roster just because you have a player like Josh Allen or you have Stephon Diggs who is in the NFC North. I try to, at least focus a lot on the NFC North because that's the rivals. That's the teams we play twice a year. We see them a lot. We know them. They know us. And for the past, I don't want to say decade, but it's basically been a lot of the same coaches. Obviously, Packers just got a new coach recently. Vikings just got a new coach recently. And Lions just got a new coach recently, too. And obviously, Bears just did, this year. But when I try to be unbiased, is my point. That's the long way around this. I try to be unbiased. So, looking at this game, I thought the Packers played really good against what probably 80 to 90% of people have, if not winning the Super Bowl, at least making the Super Bowl in the Buffalo Bills. This is basically everyone's pick to come out of the AFC. Right now, it's obviously Philly in the NFC, but who knows? Anything can change because it feels like everyone in the NFC is terrible. But when you put a performance like that on screen, that shows there's building blocks there. And after essentially 3 weeks of crappy football, yes, I'm even going back to the win against the Patriots. Crappy football. And even to an extent, like the Bears game, they had, was it Khalil Herbert? No, it was Montgomery had it was like 142 yards or something like that on our defense too. So, even back in the wins this year, there's always been something that's missing, something that doesn't feel right. And this game last night felt like the pieces were finally there. And they started building. You want to go with the Lego set? They started building the tower. You want to go with a puzzle? They started building the outside. And that kind of excites me. I don't want to get too excited because it's one game, obviously. So it's not like things are going to instantly change in a matter of seconds and boom, they're instantly a playoff contender, instantly a Super Bowl contender. I don't believe that right now. But when you have an outline, when you have the start of a tower, the base of a tower built, and there's so much time left, in the regular season to right the ship, to go on a winning streak, and push yourself into the playoffs. That gets me excited for this team. So, while, again, the media is going to talk about bad game, terrible, Packers suck, they're not making the playoffs and whatnot, it infects the fan base, and fans are going to see that and say, I agree with them and whatnot. But if you take a step back, ignore the media, do your own research, watch the game. I've watched every single game this year. I mean, I've been watching basically every single game for the past, 20 years of my life, 21. Well, okay, I probably can't remember back when I was a baby, so I remember back when Brett Favre threw that interception against the Giants, so years, over a decade, is essentially how long I've been watching Packers football. And obviously you can't compare then to now, but take a step back, look at this team, watch them. Usually, I can't say this for every single team, but usually on YouTube, the team's the team's actual pages, kind of put up like plays that went well, players that did well this week and whatnot. Take 5 minutes. Usually, like the Packers videos, they're only 2 to 3 minutes where they just recap a small little thing. And so you can take, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, watch one clip, come back when you have another time later in the day, the next day, watch another clip, and you'll see, individually, these players out there had a crazy game. It just, together, was not enough to get the win. And that goes back to Rodgers a couple weeks ago said, 10 people can do the right thing, one person messes everything up. And that's true. But it didn't look like a massacre. It didn't look like a total mess. Like, they didn't... let's say you're baking a cake. You don't have things on the wall. You don't have the cake on the ceiling and, frosting everywhere and all these ingredients everywhere around the kitchen. That didn't look like it this week. After 3 weeks, again, back to the Patriots game too, it looked like a mess everywhere. They really cleaned up and they kept the mess on the countertop yesterday. So that's a step in the right direction to making a perfect cake. And there's, again, a lot of time to build off of that. So you're going to see a lot of people out there in the internet, in the world, talking about how the Packers are so bad. This is it. This is the end. Take a step back. Look at the film. Watch the game highlights again. This could be for any team. I know I have fans. Shout out to Future, who's a Giants fan. Look at your team. Look at the Giants. What are they doing well? What did they do bad against Seattle? Look at what they did well against other teams and whatnot. And obviously, like Saquon, I think he had under 50 yards rushing yesterday. Seattle's defense really locked down the run game, which is what they're known for. That's off topic. Point is, though, there's a lot here. And the talent is here. You have a back-to-back MVP who has not looked good so far. You have Aaron Jones, who is widely considered the best player on this team. You're handing it to him. You have A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon is a running back, too. He's not the main guy. We're up there with the Browns as like one of the best running back duos in the game because A.J. Dillon is so good. And you have Aaron Jones, who is so good. And when you have Aaron Jones going off for, it was like 145 yards last night. A.J. Dillon had like 60 yards last night. They basically had like 200 yards combined. They had, I think Aaron Jones had 15 to 17 carries, whatever it was. So they had over 20 combined carries. Get them the ball. And that, Packer fans have been screaming for weeks. And they finally did it. Going into this game, I was nervous because I saw a lot of people talking about how this Buffalo's defense, I believe, was allowed one of the fewest amount of rushing yards or something like that. Some rushing stat they're very good in. And that's, again, their front line. That's their linebackers and whatnot. They did have a lot of people in the box. And even still, Aaron Jones was still able to get, 5, 6, 7 yards. He still had some big rushes. I think he had, was it 36 or 46 was the longest he had? And like, again, when you're going in this game and you see one of the hardest defenses to run on, you see how bad we've struggled, how much we haven't handed the ball off. And then you have confidence when you see they give the ball to Aaron Jones, to A.J. Dillon, and they're just wrecking through people. A.J. Dillon's bulldozing people for first downs and whatnot. That's what we've been clamoring for. That's one big stepping stone towards a better future. Now, another stepping stone is getting healthy. The problem is Christian Watson just came back, and he got hurt in the first quarter. Randall Cobb out for a couple weeks. Allen Lazard out for a couple weeks. Sammy Watkins just came back last week. Can the wide receiver core stay healthy? Can the running back stay healthy? Tonyan, coming off of last year with the ACL, can he stay healthy? Because he's a big threat for tight end. He's like easily our best passing tight end. Now, maybe Mercedes Lewis is better at blocking, but Tonyan's a pretty good blocker too. So, can all the weapons stay healthy? Can the O-line stay healthy? We didn't have a healthy O-line last night, and we still were running the ball very well. That's another thing. We get a healthy O-line. Is Aaron Jones going to run for 200 yards instead of 140? Is A.J. Dillon going to get 100 yards instead of 50 yards or 40 yards, whatever it was? That's what I'm curious about. Defensively, you have the talent. I think Joe Barry performed a masterclass second half. The second half is what I remember from that Niners game. Shout out to Ishii last year, where the defense hammered that Niners offense. I believe it was either 7 points or 3 points is all they allowed. I think it was 2 field goals. So 6 points, I believe, is all that defense allowed. This is what that defense in the second half did last night too. They didn't allow a single touchdown in the second half. Now, I did see someone say, well, maybe it's because they took their foot off the gas. Yes, I think in the third quarter, early in the third quarter, yes. But then when the Packers score in the third quarter, and then they score again in the fourth quarter, I think the Bills realized, hey, we can't be conservative here. And what happened? Josh Allen turns the ball over twice. Now, Aaron Rodgers did turn the ball over too, late in the game, and that could have been helpful with points too. But this defense right now, this game, the Bills game, looked like what late last year and in the playoffs reminded me of for how good this defense can be. Again, you have the talent. We've had the talent since last year. We resigned basically all the big names that we wanted to resign. Devontae Campbell did get hurt, but hopefully it's not serious where we can get him back later on this year. Rasul Douglas is being kind of cooked. He got cooked by by Stefon Diggs last night. But when he's not on the wide receiver one, he's not a bad corner at all. Eric Stokes, we drafted him. Very good corner. Jair Alexander had I damn near say one of his best, well, probably not one of his best games, but this was a very good game by Jair Alexander too. So there's so much talent. Again, Kenny Clark up front. I know people aren't as big fans of Dean Lowry, but he can be a rotational piece in there to help. He has had some games, that line is kind of shaky, but they have had some games where individual players will look good. And it's just, can they put the pieces together? Can Joe Barry keep calling this? You let up, instead of 27, maybe you let up 21. And then the Packers only need to score 22 points max to win a game. If they can do that, if you can do what you did against the Niners, again, in the divisional round, it was, 17-14, I believe, or 17-10, something like that, low-scoring game. The offense kind of started to click a bit last night. Again, it was because of the run game, because, Aaron Jones is going off. What happens if you get a wide receiver one out there? And then it's okay, run pass option, play action. What happens when you can get everyone in the box, and then you have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon blocking, and you send, wide receiver one deep. You have Allen Lazard coming over the middle. You have Randall Cobb doing this. Sammy Watkins doing that. You have Romeo Doubs showing up. You have Samori Toure going deep, too. What happens when you get a real wide receiver one that stretches the field, either deep, shallow, whatever, and the rest of these guys are able to shine? We are, I think, 24 hours or whatever, 25 hours away from the deadline. I believe it's tomorrow. I don't know what time tomorrow. I think it's 4. I think it's 4 Central. I don't remember. Point is, we're really close to the deadline. At the time of me recording this video, nothing has been said yet as to what's going on, what receivers are, being traded and whatnot. I don't think there's been any trades today, actually. So we'll see what happens. If they can get a wide receiver one, very interested to see how the rest of these wide receivers can look when you're not the main focus, when Allen Lazard isn't the main wide receiver one, like Rodgers and Matt LaFleur have kind of treated them so far. So I'm going to wrap up there. Again, a lot of good in this loss. Building blocks started. You have the base. You have the outside of the puzzle. Can you fill in the blank? Can you keep building that tower? Again, schedule does not get easier. We still have the undefeated Eagles coming up. Undefeated as of right now. Who knows what's going to happen in their future by the time we face them. We still have the Rams coming to town, which is, Rams are falling off a cliff. I think we go to the Rams. I'd have to double check. I think we go to the Rams. We have Cowboys coming to town. We still have the Vikings in January. We still have the Bears one more time. We still have the Lions twice. I think we go to them next weekend, I believe. I would have to double check. They usually alternate. So I believe, like last year, we were there week 18. So I believe we go there first this year for the first matchup. So point is, a lot of time to right the ship. A lot of good in that loss. If you just take a step back, ignore the media. And for now, like the video, share the video around, don't subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.